2022 was a very decent year for horror, no matter which subgenre you like, or whether you prefer slow burns, gore fests, jump scares, genre-defying movies, or just a straightforward fun scary story. This year had plenty to offer to all types of horror fans. So without further ado, and in no specific order, here are the 10 horror movies of 2022 we enjoyed the most.
Also, this video is kindly sponsored by Helix mattresses.
Nanny is a genre mashup that's part slow burn, part haunting, and part psychological folk horror whose end result will get under your skin. Aisha is a Senegalese immigrant that has just landed a nanny job for a New York City couple. She is working to have a stable life in order to bring the child she left behind in Senegal over to the States. In addition to the everyday hardships that she must overcome, Aisha is being affected by an entity that is threatening the dream she desperately hopes to achieve. Nikiatu Jusu presents a beautifully shot first directorial feature with Nanny. She establishes a foreboding atmosphere even before anything supernatural occurs. Anna Diop's performance encapsulates the emotional range of a woman whose heart is torn due to the sacrifices she must make and the guilt of not being with her son, the one she is sacrificing everything for. Her character grounds the experience, making the movie more about motherhood, even amidst the folk horror elements that are sprinkled throughout. X is a throwback to the golden age of the slasher, with elements reminiscent of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and to a certain point, a more recent movie, The Visit. Set in the late 70s, a group of filmmakers rents a farmhouse in order to shoot a dirty movie. Not just any type of dirty movie, but the classiest one anyone has ever seen, at least according to the cameraman and producer. Even before filming, the group has already incurred mistrust on the part of the elderly owner. His wife, on the other hand, seems to be drawn to the visitors, especially one of the actresses. This is a movie that both pays homage and embraces tropes from the slasher and exploitation subgenres. It balances the story with moments of violence and dark comedy, while not taking itself too seriously, as some A24 features are prone to do. As with any slasher, there are creative kills. More than just serving as set pieces that connect plot point A to plot point B, they give us a bit more insight into the killer's mindset. It offers a different take on aging and losing what you were once proud of showing off.
What are you doing in here, Mr. Goose?
We didn't have to wait long for a chance to revisit Ty West's X universe because about a half a year later, a prequel was released. Pearl is pretty much X's villain's origin story. Set in 1918, we follow Pearl's unfulfilling life at the farm as she works, takes care of her ailing father, disappoints her mother, and dreams of one day being a dancer featured in films, where everyone would know who she is. Beneath her often cheery and innocent exterior lies a darkness that is explored with more frequency as she finds resistance to her dreams. The film's bright and oversaturated color palette reflects the fantasy world Pearl wishes for, and makes the moments of violence even more impactful because for the most part, they are in broad daylight. Mia Goth's performance shows off her range, bringing us a character that can seem cheerful, naive, sympathetic, hopeful, scary, unhinged, and disturbed. And sometimes all that happening within a short span of time. Her monologue near the end was both sad and terrifying. Even her smile, which is featured for an awkwardly long amount of time during the credits, shows how her character is happy, pained, and unstable, all at the same time. It has a real uncanny feeling to it.
If you try to touch me, I'll scratch your face, and whoever's coming will see and ask why.
This face?
Once again, we are returning to the late 70s for another period piece horror. And due to the fact that the story involves kids close to the 80s in a small town dealing with murders, you might be inclined to think that the Black Phone is a Stranger Things wannabe, just riding the show's coattails. Well, rest assured that it isn't. Based on Joe Hill's short story, the movie sets up a town that has been dealing with a string of child abductions. Finney is the latest victim. He's confined to a soundproof basement, where all he has access to is a cot, a toilet, and a disconnected phone on the wall. In the midst of his captivity, the phone begins to ring, which should be impossible. In addition to that, the people on the other end of the line are the deceased victims of the kidnapper, each trying to help Finney escape. One of the film's strengths is that it takes its time to set up the town, its inhabitants, and the relationships, in order to make us care for the characters and their ultimate fate. Ethan Hawke manages to sell his character's disturbing menace, even through his masked face. This is definitely one of the more enjoyable and crowd-pleasing horror movies on our list. After the success of his first directorial effort, Jordan Peele was approached to direct an adaptation of Akira. Although he would have loved to do it, he turned it down because at the end of the day, he wants to work on original material. Even though I would have loved to see how he would have adapted the anime movie or even the manga, I think he made the right choice. Although he did manage to sneak in a nod to Akira in his latest film. In Nope, a couple of siblings who own a ranch bear witness to strange occurrences coming from an unidentified flying object that hides in the clouds. Since they are strapped for cash, they decide to try to capture the UFO on film and make money off of the footage. Nope is a mix of sci-fi, horror, neo-western, and feels like a fusion of Jaws and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It has a message about the monetization of tragedy, the need to rise to fame, and the danger of profiting from something you can't control, or at least that's what I got from it. Which is the beauty of Jordan Peele's movies. We can find all sorts of interpretations and meanings to make his movies more relevant to ourselves. Spectacle is a word that is often used in the movie, and seems to be one of the themes. It's even a descriptor of how big this movie feels, like an old school blockbuster. There are some genuinely thrilling and scary moments throughout this extremely well shot movie. I remember that there was a great ambiance at the theater when I watched it. The movie keeps you guessing how it will end after so many twists and turns, and it doesn't disappoint.
You know, after watching so many horror movies, it can take a while to fall asleep. Well, that's where today's sponsor can help you out. Find comfort in a Helix mattress so you can easily go to bed. I used to be one of those people that didn't think much about the mattress I was sleeping on. But as I got older, I needed something different that could help steer away the random backaches. And I was introduced to Helix. They make premium mattresses and bedding that are customized to fit your needs and are conveniently shipped right to your door. Everyone has a different body type and sleeping pattern, so it can be hard to choose the right bed for you. That's why Helix made a simple sleep quiz that matches your specific preferences to your perfect mattress. I noticed I'm more of a side sleeper who likes a medium mattress feel, so something not too firm and not too soft. Based on the Helix sleeping quiz, it matched me with their Midnight mattress, which I upgraded to a Luxe to get even more lumbar support. But something that was important for me to add on is the Glaciotex cooling cover, because my body just heats up a lot during the night. I've had my Helix mattress for close to 5 months, and the comfort level compared to my old mattress is definitely better. I like the combination of foam and spring, I don't have some of the body discomforts I used to have, and the extra Glaciotex cover has helped regulate my body temperature. The best part of all of this is that Helix delivers your mattress right to your door with free shipping in the US. The mattress comes conveniently rolled up in the box, and you'll see how easy it is to set it up for yourself. And if you're worried about buying something online without testing it out, well, Helix has a 100-night sleep trial, so you get more than 3 months to make sure that it works for you. But of course, if you don't like it, they'll pick it up for you and you'll get a full refund. Also, Helix mattresses have a 10-year warranty, and they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans. So a great night's sleep is never far away. I love my Helix, and I think you would too. If you're looking for a new bed, check out Helix. You can click the link below or go to helixsleep.com/screened and get up to $200 off your Helix mattress plus 2 free pillows. That's helix.com/screened. And now back to the list.
Four superpowered kids bonding over the summer without adult supervision. What's the worst that can happen? The Innocents is a Norwegian film that introduces us to a group of school-aged children from the same neighborhood. They slowly become acquainted with each other and discover that they have unique abilities. They don't see their gifts as superpowers or liken them to superheroes, just skills that are different and impressive. As they spend more time together, the reach of their abilities grows. Unfortunately for the little group, what started as experimentation and fun evolves into something sinister and dangerous for them and their families. This is a very unsettling film, just by the fact that it involves children in at times precarious situations. With little amount of dialogue, the film relies heavily on the child actors' nonverbal expressions to transmit their emotions through the screen. And they succeed in doing so. There's an increasing sense of tension and foreboding as the film progresses and the children's powers lead them to a place of no return. The trailer for Barbarian was very intriguing because it sets up a seemingly random occurrence that is realistically a great way to start a horror movie. And then it tells you to throw away anything you might have expected from that premise out the window. Tess has just rented an Airbnb, but when she arrives, she realizes that a man named Keith is at the house, having also rented the place. Seeing as it's late and it's raining outside, Tess reluctantly decides to stay. After some time, she discovers a secret passage in the basement. It leads her to a discovery she could have never anticipated. Barbarian feels like it's 3 unrelated movies mixed into one, with the house being the element at the center that connects the storylines, almost like an anthology. This is something that normally wouldn't work, especially considering that we get tonal shifts, absurd and surreal moments. But the filmmakers found the right balance to keep us intrigued, amused, and buying into the premise. The movie succeeds in creating tension from start to finish, only letting off some pressure when we shift storylines or have some much needed comic relief. This is a movie that should be enjoyed with a group of people, especially if they've never seen it before. My curiosity was piqued when I saw that Luca Guadagnino was reuniting with Timothée Chalamet for Bones and All. The initial teaser didn't give anything away, other than the sense that this was going to be a road trip love story, and I didn't make any effort to look into the source material or find out what the movie would be about. Before you watch it, I want to warn you to expect blood, gore, and gruesomeness. Bones and All is both a beautiful and disgusting movie, and that might have been the intention all along. Some people have compared it to Natural-Born Killers. I found it reminded me of elements of Near Dark and bits of Tokyo Ghoul. The story is set in the 80s and is about Marin, a young woman who has just recently been abandoned by her father and is left with a tape explaining her father's actions and enough information for her to embark on a journey to find her mother. Along the way, she learns more about her own past and connects with other people that share her own tastes, specifically the hunger for human flesh. Overall, the actors give great performances, and especially Taylor Russell. Luca Guadagnino's voyeuristic way of filming gives us the sense that we're peeking into this person's intimate story, with an added layer of it being forbidden or taboo. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's soundtrack enhances the contrast that we are shown on screen. The beautiful landscapes and cinematography versus the acts of violence and the dark subject matter. It's a unique coming-of-age horror romance that explores otherness and finding your place in the world. I watched this movie just knowing that it was a well-rated Macedonian film about a shape-shifting witch, and went in expecting maybe just a different take on witch mythology. I never expected it to be as deep as it was, or to leave me with an odd sense of hope, which is weird to say regarding a horror movie. You Won't Be Alone is set in the 19th century. We are introduced to a girl that was turned into a witch and forced to live away from civilization for 16 years. Eventually, her curiosity leads her to a small village where she begins to explore her unique ability. She is able to inhabit the flesh of her victims. She doesn't really know anything about the world and doesn't speak, so everything she learns is through the bodies that she inhabits, slowly learning basic skills, societal norms, and gender roles. We get to listen to her internal monologue throughout her journey as she embraces what it is to be human. The moments of violence and gore are in contrast with the film's slow-building, hopeful existentialism.
You'll be given a 45-second head start, at which point members of my staff will try and catch you. If they do catch... Okay.
If I were to try to make a label that would fit this film, I guess I'd go with psychological horror thriller, dark comedy satire that has elements that reminded me of Get Out, Ready or Not, and surprisingly, Ratatouille. A world-renowned chef has invited a small group of foodies, critics, and actors to come dine at his restaurant on a remote island. Once the meals are served, the guests begin to realize that something is wrong. Their surprise gradually turns sour as the real reason behind their invitation is slowly revealed. The film begins with a sense of mystery and some initial moments of unease. As it progresses, those moments multiply and build on each other, adding more tension to this one location pressure cooker situation. There are instances of levity that help ease some of that tension, but they also add to the dark absurdity that the characters find themselves in. The menu also has a strong social message that successfully doesn't sacrifice its own story. It's about how something as pure and simple as feeding somebody can evolve into something so complicated, elitist, or disconnected from reality. Not just from the cook's perspective, but also from the customer's. It's an interpretation that can be applied to many other businesses or industries, not only the restaurant world. There were a lot of good horror movies last year, and as you can see, they can't all make it into our top 10 list. So please tell us, what were your favorite horror movies of 2022? Please stay tuned for our following video, where we will be talking about our favorite movies of 2022. Some of the films in this list might have been included, but in order to not double dip, we will be talking about 10 separate films. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Until next time.